Meet Luke. He's someone who absolutely loves nature. Hiking, backpacking, and wild camping are his passion. And through his YouTube channel, The Outdoor Gear Review, he takes viewers along on his adventures. His videos give an honest and real look at the beauty and challenges of being out in the wild. In this video, Luke heads out for a truck camping trip in a quiet, remote area of Virginia. He's hoping to find some peace and quiet in nature. But the trip turns out to be more unsettling than he expected. It's August 2nd, 2021. On this warm summer day, after exploring the area for a bit, Luke finally finds what looks like the perfect spot to park his truck for the night. He starts setting up his camp carefully, getting everything ready for a peaceful evening surrounded by nature.
We have the bug mesh set up to keep all the black flies out. I have a table set up. I have my sleeping pad inflated. I have my bedding and all that ready to go. I have the lights. I have my fan. Oh yeah. That's it, everyone.
With everything in place, Luke feels good about the setup. Off in the distance, he notices a thunderstorm starting to form. He decides to take advantage of the remaining daylight and go on a quick hike to explore the area and enjoy the quiet surroundings.
So, as far as the weather goes, it's changing rapidly. We have thunder back here. We have some building dark clouds over here. Okay. Now, there's thunder over here. We have this super big dark monster forming over here. Tell you what, we may not hike very far. For the simple fact that if it started pouring, I don't know if we'd get back in time. I'm not sure if we would even see the rain unless it was on top of us. But it is beautiful, everyone. Just gorgeous. Whoa. Check this out. The sky is bizarre looking. What is that? Hopefully that's showing up on camera. That's incredible.
As the storm creeps closer, Luke decides it's smart to cut the hike short and head back to his truck before the rain hits. Once there, he settles in, ready to enjoy the calm while it lasts. Later, we see him passing time, sipping coffee and carving a small wooden figure.
So you can see there, maybe, I've begun rounding the edge there. I'm going to round all the way around this thing. That's nicely put, isn't it? I'm going to round all the way around this thing. That's funny. Yeah, folks, as far as the afternoon goes, nice, smooth, pleasant. It's been nice and quiet. It's been storming all day, all around us. But yet, nothing here, nothing so far.
Everything seems peaceful for now. Luke feels calm and relaxed, pleasantly surprised that the weather is still holding up. The peaceful silence of the wilderness surrounds him, and everything feels just right. But he has no idea that this calm is about to be interrupted. As the sun begins to set, casting a golden glow over the landscape, Luke starts feeling hungry and decides it's time to make dinner. He enjoys the fresh air while he cooks.
We have super thick bacon, burger, beef patty, cheddar cheese. Cheers, everyone. All right, folks, let's eat.
With his meal hot and ready, Luke sits down to eat, feeling content. But just as he takes his first bite, something strange catches his attention.
That is freaking awesome. Absolutely bizarre.
But then, out of nowhere, a weird sound echoes through the trees. It almost sounds like laughter. It's completely unexpected and breaks the stillness of the evening.
Absolutely bizarre.
Moments later, the sound of a vehicle approaching adds to the unease. The laughter grows louder, and it's now clearly a woman's voice.
I hear a vehicle coming. It came down, turned around, went back out. From the moment I heard that vehicle, I could still hear her. She's laughing hysterically, but not a normal laugh. Anytime that you go to remote areas, you will find people like that.
Luke begins to realize something unsettling. The woman isn't alone. There are others with her, and their voices sound off, slurred, wild, and unpredictable, like they might be high or drunk. Their behavior is erratic, and Luke isn't sure what they're doing out here. He sits completely still, hoping they don't come any closer. The minutes drag on, feeling like forever. Eventually, the voices start to fade and disappear into the woods. Luke feels a bit of relief, but he's still on edge. Even though the moment has passed, the weird experience sticks with him. Still, he's determined not to let it ruin his night. He decides to stay, hoping the strangers won't return. As night fully sets in, the forest grows darker and quieter. But Luke can't shake the nervous feeling. He keeps thinking about what might happen if those people come back. Sleep doesn't come easy. His mind is filled with worry. Finally, as the sun rises the next morning, he feels a wave of relief. The night is over. Nothing worse happened. He's thankful the strange encounter didn't turn into something more dangerous. Still, the whole experience leaves a mark on him. It's a clear reminder that even in beautiful, peaceful places, unexpected dangers can show up, and it's always important to stay alert and be ready for anything when you're out in the wild. This video was filmed by Brendan, a popular explorer you might recognize from his YouTube channel Uncharted Travel. For more than 8 years, he's taken viewers into forgotten places, old, crumbling structures hiding secrets of the past, capturing every eerie moment on camera. Calm, grounded, and not easily shaken, Brendan has made a name for himself by going where most people wouldn't dare. On the night of October 31st, 2019, winter's cold had already settled in, but that didn't stop him. His destination was an abandoned prison deep in the northern wilderness of Canada. Isolated, decaying, and far from civilization, it was exactly the kind of place most would avoid, especially at night. Brendan, however, planned not just to explore it, but to sleep there. With his tent packed and gear ready, he loaded his car and began the 6-hour journey north.
Essentially what I'm doing today, I'm going to be traveling about 6 hours north to an isolated prison in the middle of nowhere in Canada. I'm going to be going alone, and I'm going to be staying the night. The only people I've actually seen out this far are reservists, so that's a little bit concerning. Hopefully there's no one around where I plan on parking.
After hours on the road, he finally parked, shouldered his gear, and began the 2-hour trek through thick wilderness. The prison eventually loomed into view, dark, silent, and unsettling. Inside, he searched for the right spot to camp, setting up his tent as night swallowed the building. He lit a small fire for warmth, but as he glanced at his phone, a wave of unease hit him. No signal. Completely alone, hundreds of kilometers from the nearest town, he was deep in a dead zone. Pushing the thought aside, he made a quick dinner, then decided to explore further. The prison's decaying hallways were damp and cold. His flashlight threw long, shifting shadows against peeling walls. The air felt heavy, the silence pressing in, broken only by the slow creak of the old structure. Each step echoed, his mind quietly hoping nothing would happen. But the deeper he ventured, the stronger the tension became. And then, it happened. A loud clatter echoed through the hallway. A tin can had fallen, the noise bouncing off the empty walls. Startled, Brendan spun around, his heart pounding, but saw nothing. Swallowing his fear, he pushed forward. The sounds around him began to grow louder. It was hard to tell if they were just echoes of dripping water carrying through the old prison, or if someone was actually there with him. Refusing to panic, Brendan took a slow breath, steadied himself, and kept walking toward the boiler room, the place he had planned to explore next. Once there, he scanned the area carefully, filming for his viewers as he explained the history and unsettling atmosphere of the space. Eventually, he decided it was time to wrap up and head back to camp.
Oh, now this is creepy. Definitely gonna have to change socks tomorrow.
As he retraced his steps through the dark, eerie hallways, the silence broke again.
There's something at the end of the hallway that keeps making noise. Where it came from, this room at the end. Maybe it's just my imagination.
Until a loud, dragging noise echoed from inside. The chilling sound made it clear he might not be alone after all. Gathering his courage, Brendan moved toward the room, determined to see what was there. But as soon as he reached the doorway, the noise stopped. Was someone trying to scare him? Or was something far stranger going on? Either way, the unease weighed heavily on him, and he decided it was best to get back to camp.
What a beautiful sight to behold. My crappy tent. I can't wait to just put on some dry socks and go to bed. It's been a long day.
He kicked off his wet shoes, crawled inside, and prepared for a well-earned rest. But sleep wouldn't come.
I keep hearing something outside. Sounds like it's in the corridor, one of the corridors. Maybe an animal, I don't know. Of course now it's... Did you hear that? I hope that mic picked that up. Okay, I get my shoes on. We're checking this out.
But this time, the sound seemed closer, right outside in the hallway. The thing about this place is, there are so many different sounds echoing through the hallways that it's impossible to tell what's what.
Fox earlier, so he was one of his buddies. It sounded literally just out in this hallway.
Brendan scanned the area carefully, but saw nothing unusual. Convincing himself it was just his imagination playing tricks, he headed back to his tent, slipped off his wet shoes again, and crawled into his sleeping bag. To block out the unsettling noises and calm his nerves, he put on his headphones, hoping for a bit of peace.
Alright guys, I'm finally gonna head to bed. It's about 1:30 in the morning, and it's gotten down to about 0 degrees, so it's rather chilly. but luckily this sleeping bag is actually pretty good, so I'm fairly warm, and hopefully I'll see you in the morning.
Brendan signed off, put away his camera, and tried to drift off with his earphones in. But just as he began to relax, a loud, sharp noise shattered the stillness, snapping him to full alert.
And this place makes so much noise, like when you can't discern raindrops from wind, from animals, from scratches, from whatever. It messes with your mind, man. It's so hard to sleep here. But I'm gonna try. It's really late and I'm really tired.
The strange sounds only grew harder to ignore, and the thought of being miles from civilization made it all the more unnerving. For over half an hour, Brendan lay still, listening intently, trying to figure out where the noises were coming from, or what was making them. Then it happened again. This time, there was no mistaking it. Someone or something was definitely outside his tent.
Holy, there's a coyote outside. Right outside my tent. Hey buddy, you want to leave me alone? It's gonna be a long night. I just want to go to sleep. Go away! Go away!
Brendan sounded more annoyed than scared as he called out, trying to scare off whatever was there. But instead of leaving, the pack seemed to draw closer, a dangerous turn, especially in such isolation.
There's something growling at me. I got my bear mace. Get my knife. I'm guessing it's on the lower level, on the second floor, beneath me. Oh my god. There's a pack of coyotes out in the woods over there. Wow. Let's just hope to God they don't come up here.
Knife in hand, Brendan cautiously stepped outside, ready to confront the growling coyotes. Luckily, they had already moved deeper into the forest and were no longer hanging around his campsite. Relieved but still on edge, he retreated to his tent, deciding to wait out the rest of the night until morning.
So we made it through the night. In case any of you were wondering, yes, the night sucked. Essentially what happened is it dropped below freezing. Everything is covered in a layer of ice. It was really hard for me to keep warm. Thank God I had a pair of Hot Pockets that I forgot about. This place during the day, no problem, piece of cake. From dusk till dawn, it's on a whole nother level, man. As soon as I tried going to bed, I heard, like, it sounded like human footsteps, like just like scraping across the floor. But it turned out to be just a pack of coyotes. So that was pretty sweet. They were like stalking me. And then after a little while, I heard them cackling, and then I realized it was sounded like a jackal or coyote. I'll just use coyote for ease of term. But yeah, they started circling. And I was in the tent in the cafeteria, and they started circling the tent. And they just kept circling. And they kept getting closer and closer. So then I was like, all right, I've had enough of this. So I grabbed my knife, and I barged out the front door, and I kind of like fended them off. I started yelling at them and scared them away. And then 5 minutes later, they were circling again. Circling around the tent. So then I scared them off again, and every time, this happened like maybe 1 or 2 more times, and every time they'd come back, they'd get more and more bold, and they'd get more and more close, which I definitely did not like. Being alone, added like a whole another level of fear for me. Unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of this on camera because I was just trying to stay safe at the time, because this was like the first time I actually felt like I was in danger. And then as soon as they started rubbing up against my tent, that's when I called it. So I scared them off one last time. I packed up my things and I ran pretty much threw everything in like a bindle in the tent, and I ran up the stairs and lost the coyotes, and thankfully made it up to the roof, barricaded the roof door so that they couldn't get up, which luckily held them off for the whole night. But then as soon as I got my camp set up here, I heard them on the second story. They were looking for me. They were walking up and down the hallways trying to find me, and I was trying to keep so quiet not to alert them or anything like that. I was exhausted. It was like 3 a.m. at this point, 4 a.m. maybe. And my stomach, because I hadn't eaten pretty much anything, my stomach started grumbling. And just then I started hearing growling, like vicious growling. And that's when I knew they were not there to be friendly. And the growling sounded like it was coming from a foot behind my head. So I grabbed my knife, grabbed a flashlight, busted out the tent again, and I realized that the coyote is directly beneath me on the second story, growling up at me, trying to figure out where I am. So I spent pretty much the next hour or so awake listening to them stalking me in the hallway. And I don't know if you guys have ever been hunted before, but it kind of sucks. So it was kind of scary. I was honestly terrified that they'd break through my barricade and that was it.
When daylight finally broke, I reflected on everything that happened. I was incredibly grateful to have made it through unharmed. The whole ordeal was a harsh reminder of the hidden dangers that come with camping alone, especially in remote places far from civilization. Luckily, I got out safely and can keep sharing my adventures with you, but this is one experience I'll never forget. This chilling footage was filmed by Xander, a well-known YouTuber from the channel Xander Budnick. A true outdoorsman, Xander has spent nearly 2 decades thriving in the wilderness, testing gear, pushing his limits, and exploring some of the world's most remote jungles, islands, and forests. Over the years, he's faced many challenges, but this particular trip left him deeply unsettled. It was March 28, 2021, a cold spring day, when Xander headed out for a solo camping trip in a forest near his home.
Just got out here, it's 12 degrees Celsius, we got snow on the ground, we got rain on the forecast, and it's that weird time between winter and summer. Some people call it spring, other people call it muck season. That's up to you, but it's definitely an awkward time to go camping. So we're out here with a ton of gear, and basically this is just an experiment, seeing what we can do in this type of season. Let's go.
His plan was simple: see what could be done in these tricky conditions. He trekked deep into the forest, snow crunching beneath his boots, searching for the perfect campsite. Once he found it, Xander set up his tent, built a campfire, and made dinner. As night fell, the forest grew still, with only the occasional rumble of distant thunder. Settling into his sleeping bag, he expected a quiet, uneventful night, but the night had other plans. In the dead of night, a faint but unsettling sound woke him. It reminded him of someone or something in distress. He stayed completely still, trying to figure out where it was coming from. Suddenly, a gunshot shattered the silence, and the noises stopped instantly. Too afraid to move, Xander lay there listening, unsure if whatever made the sound might come closer. But after the gunshot, the forest went eerily silent. He stayed awake for a long time before finally drifting back to sleep. When morning came, he was still shaken, but nothing had happened. He made breakfast, packed up his gear, and hiked out of the forest. Later, he admitted he had no idea what he heard that night or where the gunshot came from. A few days later, he checked the news, but nothing unusual had been reported. To this day, the mystery of what happened that night remains unsolved. Let's move on with the video. This is Sarah, a nature lover who's embraced a life of adventure, traveling across the states in her Jeep Wrangler with her loyal dog always by her side. Through her YouTube channel, Wandering Jeepsy, she shares her incredible journeys, giving viewers a glimpse into the beauty and unpredictability of life on the road. In this video, Sarah heads deep into the remote wilderness of southern Utah, hoping for a calm evening surrounded only by the soothing sounds of birds. But this adventure turned out to be far less peaceful than she expected. It's November 25th, 2024. After a long day on the road, Sarah finally finds a secluded campsite where she can fully immerse herself in nature. Before settling in, she follows her usual routine, scouting the area to make sure it feels safe for the night.
I like to walk around when I get to my place that I'm setting up camp at and just scope the area out. Make sure there's no crazy people hiding in the bushes or behind the rocks. Or wild animals. But I think we're good in this area. No signs of humans. No signs of wildlife. Just hear a bunch of crazy birds chirping. And one of the things I like to do when setting up camp too is scoping out the place, is look on the ground for like wild animal poop.
Another part of her safety check includes scanning the ground for wild animal droppings. After a thorough walk around, she feels confident she's found the perfect spot for the night. With peace of mind, Sarah starts setting up camp, carefully arranging everything for a cozy stay in the heart of nature.
Hi, little one. Hi. Let's put this right here. Yes.
Her dog follows her around as she works, tail wagging. With her campsite nearly ready, she brews a cup of tea and settles in to watch the fading light, enjoying the calm sounds of the wilderness. But before long, an uneasy feeling starts creeping in, hinting that the night ahead might not be as peaceful as she hoped. Something didn't feel quite right. Since Sarah had arrived, the area had been completely quiet. No passing cars, no other people. Just her dog, and the peaceful songs of birds. But as she sipped her tea, the calm was suddenly broken. A car pulled up at the end of the dirt road and lingered there. Minutes passed as the vehicle shifted positions strangely, almost like the driver had stalled for no reason. A wave of unease washed over Sarah. Trusting her instincts, she quietly grabbed her phone, placed it on the dashboard, and started recording, just in case. The mood shifted instantly. She couldn't tell what the driver wanted, but the sense of discomfort only grew. The car stayed parked for what felt like forever, making her increasingly nervous. Keeping her phone recording, she began cautiously packing some of her gear back into the Jeep, unsure of what to do but certain she no longer felt safe staying there. Then the car finally began to move. As it passed, Sarah caught sight of the driver, a man with his window rolled down. Later, when she reviewed her footage, a chilling detail stood out. He was wearing a face mask and staring directly at her, his gaze cold and unsettling. At that moment, her instincts screamed at her to leave. The once beautiful, peaceful campsite now felt threatening. With no one else around, and the possibility that the stranger could return, she made the difficult choice to pack everything up and head back towards civilization. She drove away feeling both disappointed and relieved. Disappointed to leave the perfect campsite behind, but grateful to be safe. It's unsettling to imagine what might have happened if she had ignored her instincts and stayed. Thankfully, we'll never have to find out.